being star today? You know, you get these big stars in your videos, they get these egos, they won't show up, and they're yawning. Not a good start. That's not a good look, Rizzo. Not at all. Not for heavy lift day. All right, well, she's sitting just slightly off camera. She's making, oh no, you can see her? Oh, hi. Well, hey guys, welcome to Power Hour. So this is part 2 of our 2-part heavy lift power series. So I hope you joined me on Saturday for the first part. It was kind of our precursor, our lead into today, which today is going to be our super heavy lifts. Power Hour all the way. So what are you going to need? Just real quick, not much to it. You need your heavy weights. And I mean heavy, heavy, heavy weights. Now, just like I said last time, that does not mean go drag the 60-pound weight across the floor that you know you can't lift, but Tracy said get a heavy weight, so that's what you did. That's not what I mean. I mean the heaviest weights for your upper and your lower body that you think you can lift. How many times? We're looking for like 4 to 6 times. I'll get more into that, but just so you know, if you haven't grabbed your weights yet, just so you know kind of what we're thinking here. Grab yourself some options. Again, we're working lower and upper body, so make sure you have some options available. This is where if you worked out with me on Saturday, or if you've done the video since, it's going to be super helpful because you've already done these exercises. So you kind of found your range on Saturday. Saturday we did 8 to 10, and then we talked about we're basically going to cut that in half for today's class. So if you worked out with me on Saturday, you definitely have the advantage of kind of already knowing what your range is. So heavy weights and then yoga mat floor support for a little bit of work on the floor. That's all we're going to need today. So what are we doing? I'm going to try to keep this super short and sweet. You know, I'll talk you through it, and we're going to have more breaks today, so I can definitely keep talking you through it. But we are doing heavy lifts. I've talked about this before. I did a whole series about just kind of muscle building 101. But if you really want to get into building power and strength, I don't mean muscle, I mean that power, like power lifters. You know, like if you see a power lifter in the Olympics, they don't lift that heaviest weight they can lift 8 to 10 to 12 times, right? They lift it like once. Or if you see somebody in competition, maybe they do it a couple times. But that's it. So that is more what we're looking for, that power, that strength, that explosiveness. If you hear people talk about PRs, you know, your personal record, that's the kind of thing we're working on today, okay? So we don't do this when we're just looking to build general muscle. What you do with me in class normally, that's building general, strong, beautiful muscles. Today, we're working on power, strength, that wowza kind of lift, okay? That's what we're looking for today. So, we've done these exercises before in our previous video, but if you didn't join me for the previous video, no sweat. They're all super straightforward. We don't throw tricks. We don't throw weird cadences or paces or pauses into power lifts. We go right into it. It's straightforward, no tricks. So, no worries if you haven't done this with me before. It's very straightforward exercises. So let's see, full body, like I said, we're doing upper, we're doing lower. How this is different from our previous class and all of our previous classes is we are only doing one exercise at a time. There's no sets, there's no 2 to 3 exercises together, there's one. So we're gonna work on one heavy lift, and that's it. We'll do that 3 times, and then we'll move to the next lift. We'll do that 3 times. So that's very different, I know, but that's how we're going to make sure that we move most effectively, that we get that muscle warm, and then we take advantage of it being warm instead of getting it warm, doing 2 or 3 more exercises, and then coming back to it. So we're staying in it. We're going to do just one exercise, 4 to 6 reps maximum, and that's it. Then we'll take a break. So here's the thing I said, I talked about on Saturday. I'm trying to make sure we don't go too long here. You gotta have patience today, because when we work in this 4 to 6 reps, when I say 4 to 6, I mean 4 to 6, and you could not possibly do any more. Maybe 1, maybe, and that is it. So you are lifting as heavy as possible, that only 4 to 6 times you pick up that weight, and you are done. okay? So what does that mean? That means we have killed that, we have maxed that muscle out. So we're gonna do our 4 to 6 reps, and then we're gonna take like a minute to a minute and a half break before we do the 4 to 6 again, before we do the 4 to 6 again, okay? So have a little bit of patience. That will only take, between exercises, will only take about a minute and a half. We'll set it up, and then we'll go to the next exercise. So there's not gonna be big, long breaks, but there are gonna be frequent short breaks. And that's just to give that muscle time to recover before we hit it again. So we're starting with squat. We want to let our squat muscles recover for a minute, minute and a half, and then dive back in. We don't want to push it to its max, its heaviest weight, and then wait 10 seconds and go back to it. That muscle hasn't had time to recover. It's still going to be fatigued. So it's going to take a little bit of patience today. I have a stopwatch running so I can loosely keep up and make sure that we're taking appropriate amount of time breaks. Not too long, not too short, okay? Yeah, so that's really about it. The last thing is, and I mentioned this before, and anytime we lift heavy, safety, 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 safety. I am not there with you. I can't see your form to make sure you're doing this exercise correctly. I'll coach the hell out of it to make sure you're close, but I can't see you to make sure you're lifting weights safely. I also am not there to spot you, so please don't push yourself to a point that you're literally scared that you might drop a weight on your chest. Okay, so be safe. When in doubt, err a little bit on the side of caution. If you have a spotter at home, wonderful, then push yourself as far as you want. But chances are you're probably not working out with a spotter for an hour, so just keep that in mind, guys. Safety, 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 safety. Okay, and if you are scared, intimidated, and don't want to do it, don't want to push yourself that far, fine. Work in like the 8 to 10 range. You won't be that far behind us. We'll be taking breaks for a minute and a half. You won't need that long of a break. So you can kind of catch up by taking shorter breaks. Okay, so if you're not comfortable with this, but you want to work out today, do that. All right? As always, my last couple notes, add music if you need it, modify as needed. If you don't know how to modify, please ask the questions. I'm happy to help. Please like, share, subscribe, do all of those things that get people paying attention to us on social media, and encourage your friends to pick up some heavy weights and swing them around too. And lastly, if you wish to donate any funds for these classes, it is the only payment I receive for these classes, and you are receiving basically personal training, slightly impersonal training for free. So if you can donate, it would be greatly appreciated. Venmo at Strong Style Fit. You will see this logo, you'll know it's me, and that's where you can donate. All right, guys, so to it. Front squat is what we're going to be working. You've got a couple options in your squat. I'm going to talk about your weights and your options, and then I'm going to check the video, and we'll get started. So for your squat, you can hold a weight multitude of ways. And you might have to do some math here. So, you know, if you look at a one weight, and you're like, or say you have a 50-pound weight at home, and you want to just hold one weight, and 50 is what you want to do, then you could hold that one weight like a bow tie, and I'm just going to grab the easiest weight possible. You can hold like a bow tie here, or you can hold in a goblet here if you're doing one weight. If you have one weight that gets you to your max, these are your holding options. Here, here. Just make sure your chest is nice and open, whichever way you're holding, that you're not collapsed forward. Okay? Or you can hold two weights, and your two weights will be down by your side here, or load it up, and if they're super heavy, you can even slightly rest them on your shoulders. I've never had anybody tell me that's not correct. It feels pretty correct. I do it, so I think we're safe to do that. Have the weights here, or again, down by your side if you're using two. All right, so I'm going to grab my heaviest options. I'm going to play with the idea of how I'm going to hold mine. Last class, I held them here. I'm going to try holding them by my side this time to see if that feels any different. So you might see me change up grip, but again, any grip is okay that I've shown you, okay? All right, I'm going to grab a quick sip of water, and we're going to get right to it. All right, guys, we're looking good. I've got to reattach my water bottle real quick. I was sipping and I had nothing to sip. All right, so thanks for bearing with me, guys, through all that explanation. I just want to make sure you understand what we're doing, understand the concept of what we're doing, and really, really hit home on safety, okay? All right, so we've got our squat. We've got our feet hip width apart, or a little bit wider is okay too. You can flare your toes out a little bit if that feels better in your hips, or have them facing forward. Your choice. You've got the weights, however you've decided to hold them, and nothing fancy, just sitting back into that squat, like we're sitting back in a deep chair. 4 to 6, that's where we're working. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, last one, 6. Good. Set those weights down. It moves pretty fast, right? So I'm just checking the time. All right. So for me, this is 50. That's not really enough to push me to my 4 to 6 max. But it's okay. That's what I got to work with. I could load up some plates onto a bar, but kind of the point of these classes are how to work out at home. I know most of you guys don't have this stuff at home. So, but if you're in that place where you have this bar at home, like one of the bars where you can load up weights, do it to it. Please don't feel limited to hand weights just because that's what I'm using. Again, with these videos, I just try to stay with equipment that I feel like you probably have at home. But you have that option. If you have it, please take it. All right, guys, so we're going to go about 20 more seconds, and then we're going to get started. So let's go ahead and load up here. About 10 more seconds. Catch your breath. We're going to go for it again. I'm going to try. Now, I'm going to sit down here. All right, guys, get ready. Open up that chest. Get those weights where you want them. Sit back in that deep chair. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Boom. All right. Set them down. Get another break. So we're almost done already with the squats. So it moves fast. You guys, I don't want you to be deceived. Like I said, this is not my power strength range. I don't have hand weights to push me to that point. So don't take where I'm at effort-wise is where you should be. I would like to see you breathy, a little bit of sweat coming maybe already, a little bit of heart rate elevated. I'm just not working in that range for me on this particular exercise. You will see it in some others, but not in this particular one. All right, guys, let's take a few more seconds. And we'll go one more trip through. All right, I keep eyeballing these plates because I'm like, could I? It's okay. All right, guys, let's set it up. Last trip through. Now, if you're not hosting the video like me, then feel free, if you're like, no, I'm not really getting there with 6, go ahead and get your 8 to 10 if you're in the same boat as me where your weights just aren't quite enough. All right, let's go ahead and get started. 1, 2, 3. Make sure you're keeping that chest nice and tall. 4, 5. Last one. 6. Nice. All right, guys. So you can set those off to the side. Catch your breath if you hopefully need to catch your breath. All right, guys. So I've got my eye on the time. We're going to take about another minute and a half or so. We're going to go to our next exercise. So we're going to bicep curls next. 25 is probably too heavy for me for bicep curls. So here, I think you will certainly see me get to that fatigue point. So, again, where I want you to be, just because I know you didn't see me get there with those squats, is at the end of 4 to 6 reps, you should feel like I am done. I can maybe do one more if someone forced me. And I want you to feel a little bit of heart rate elevated, a little bit of breathy. I've got a little bit of breathy from that last one, but I'd like to be a little more there. Okay, so that's kind of the cues that you're looking for. I could do one more if somebody had a gun to my head, and I could definitely need to pause between every few words, and I've got a little bit of sweat trickling. That's sort of your cues you're looking for. All right, guys, so bicep curls, again, no tricks, straight up bicep curl. I'll let you pick which grip you want, if you want to be here or if you want to be hammer curl. Your decision, I'll let you pick. Shoulders back and down, elbows in, full extension, full contraction to the top. All right, guys, let's do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's more like it. Last one. 6. Good. Set it down. That's a better representation of where I want you to be. When you're in that last 1 to 2, it's slow, it's kind of a grind. I'm sure you could see it in my face that it wasn't a pickup, it was a pull, 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 pull. That's where we're looking to be, okay? All right, so we're gonna take just about 30 seconds more and then we'll go back to it. So make sure you're grabbing your water whenever you need it. And I definitely know this is a very different feeling, right? You're like, I'm doing way more standing around than I am lifting. But again, this is a different approach. We're not taking the same approach that we normally do. So it is very different. We're working in a very different way. It's okay. Be open to the idea. All right, let's pick those weights up. Bicep curl. Stay with whatever grip you did the first time, okay? Whatever you chose for the first time, you're doing all 3 sets, that same grip. Let's go. 1, 2, 3. So you're lowering those weights. Don't just drop them down. 4. 5. Last one. 6. Good. Set it down. Good work, guys. All right. Again, we've got about a minute and a half or so that we're going to take for our break. So yeah, that's where, see, when the bicep curl, after about 4 or 5 words or so, I'm going to pause to take a breath. So that's a good place to be, especially for upper body. Usually, upper body is not going to get you really high heart rate. So that's where again, just want to make sure you understand the cues because this is so different. Whew. All right, have a little pep talk for those bicep curls. So they're coming up again here. Let's give it about 20 more seconds. So go ahead, shake out wrist, your grip definitely might be failing you a little bit in this workout. Probably not yet, maybe eventually. So just go ahead and know that's okay too. All very normal. Shoulders back and down. Slow it up. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Last one. 6. down. And there you are. So there's your bicep curls. All done. Very different, right? But I can feel it. My arms feel, you know, get like that thick feeling, you know? Thick soul, right? All right, guys, so it's a little break. Coming up next, it's going to be the single leg deadlift. Okay? So single leg deadlift, normally we do with one weight. I'm going to experiment. I think it's going to work just fine with 2 weights. So we talked about single leg deadlift in the previous class when we talked about double leg deadlift and how that's just a strong exercise. It's a huge muscle group, and so you might be challenged to have enough weights at home to really get to that 4 to 6 level weight. So I made the exercise single leg for this class because I think we're more likely to have the weight that's going to challenge us to that 4 to 6 in a single leg deadlift. So that's why I broke that up for this class. So go ahead and decide what you want to use. I think I can use, I'm going to go ahead and experiment. I think holding 2 weights, oh yeah, that'll be just fine. So totally, you can do 2 weights. So I'm going to start with this just because honestly I've never done this much on my single leg deadlift. So I'm going to start with 2 20s, see what happens there. All right, guys, I have not popped around and checked the camera, so I'm going to check on the video real quick and see if anybody has any questions, and then we'll coach up on the deadlift. Very nice. All right, so single leg deadlift. I'm going to coach you without weights. You guys know I coach a deadlift to death. So I just want to make sure that we have these big heavy weights, so we're doing everything as correct as possible. So we're going to put our left foot forward and we're doing our left leg, which is what we're doing first. Our right leg is going to kickstand behind us. So just a little kickstand, just a little support. There's not a ton of weight back there. And then we're going to bend our left leg. Got our hips squared off, nice and even. We're going to bend our left knee just enough to engage all of these muscles. We're going to have our weights ironing our pants down, our hips come back. So you see I'm hinging forward, not squatting down. So I'm hinging my hips back as I iron my pants down. And then when I get to the bottom, when I feel all of this kick in, I push through this left foot and drag my hips forward. So hips come back, 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 back. Drive forward. Okay? So that's what we're looking for. So go ahead and grab your weights. Super important, guys. Super duper duper important. Keep these weights as close to your body as humanly possible. I say iron your pants and I mean it. Okay? All right. So let's get ourselves set. Left leg forward, right foot kickstand. Even those hips out. Flat back, nice tall spine. Bend in the knee. Hips sit back. One. Two. Three. Four. Five. Six. Good. I already know I need to go up. So I'm going to set these off to the side and plan to go up for the next round. So, we got our break, catch our breath, adjust your weights as needed. Awesome job, guys. And congrats on challenging yourself to lift in a new way and to experiment with a new way. And I hope you guys are enjoying it so far and definitely understand that you may not have the appropriate weights at home. You're probably stronger than you think you are and you're doing your heaviest and you're like, uh-oh, I feel like I could do more. So don't let that feel like a wasted workout by any means. You're exploring, you're learning, and you're maybe making a shopping list for the future, right? So it's always impressive, right? Because you're like, I never would have dreamed I could have done X, Y, Z weight. And that's different for all of us. You know, you might say, I never dreamed I could lift 10 pounds. There's nothing wrong with that. And the realization that you can do it, amazing. So please don't see, you know, oh, instructor's lifting 50. I'm only doing 20. What's wrong with me? Nothing is wrong with you. It's amazing that you're doing 20. All right. So let's set up our next round, single leg deadlift. So chest nice and tall, spine long. Right foot kickstands, left knee bends, hips sit back. Drive through that foot to stand. Ooh, that's more like it. Hips sit back, 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 back. Drive through that foot to stand. Three. Four. Five. Six. Good job, guys. Set those weights down. Take another break and do that one more time. If we happen to get to the end of this more quickly than I anticipated, maybe we'll go back through and do each exercise just one more time to see. To experiment, to see if you have enough left in you to maybe up your weight a little more. Or just to do the series one more time. We'll see. We may not have the time to do that, but I kind of think it would be neat, especially once you're warm, to go back through and just see what you can do for that last round. We'll see. All right, guys, I'm going to take about 20, 30 more seconds, and then we'll get going in the last round. Remember, water anytime. We have all of these breaks. Take advantage of it. Please stay hydrated. All right. Get ready. Have a pep talk with your booty if you need it. All right. Get those weights. Also be mindful, you are picking up heavy weights off the floor. I tend to not be very mindful and just kind of bend over and grab them. Don't do what Tracy does. Be mindful and pick up your heavy weights safely. All right. Tall spine. Come up out of those hips. Right leg kickstands back. Left knee bends. Kind of shift your weight back just a little bit. Tall, iron those pants down. Hips. Sit back, back, back. Flat back. Drive. 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. Nice job, guys. Set those weights down. Woo. So, next up, overhead press. Oh, that's funny. Does your left feel totally different from your right now? I took like a step this way and I was like, oh, all right, leg's kind of jello-y compared to this like nice tight left leg I just worked. So guys, we're going to overhead press next. Chances are that's going to be a lot lighter than what we've been doing so far. So please be mindful. Overhead press is kind of the first one that we're going to get into that I'm going to say be very careful. So again, I want you to push yourself. I want you to try to find that 4 to 6 rep range for yourself. But I say take this break right now if you haven't already thought about it. If you didn't work with me on Saturday and get an idea in your head of where you need to be, I want you to take this break and really experiment. Like pick up a set that you think might be a little too light and really see what that feels like before you pick up what you think is the heaviest you could possibly do and get an unpleasant surprise. I only say that because shoulders are tender, shoulders are sensitive and easily injured. So take this time now while I'm talking, pick up if you don't know exactly what you need to be doing, Pick up some options, feel it out before you just dive right into the deep end with your overhead press. The only other one that I'm going to give you that warning on is bench press later, okay? So I don't say that to scare you. I just say most of what we've done now is legs or biceps, which biceps you'll know you can't curl it because you won't be able to move it. Whereas overhead press, you can load it up here pretty easily, but once you start pushing, you're kind of stuck there. So this is the first one where I just want you to be really mindful. All right, I'm going to grab some water, check the video real quick, and then we're going to get go. All right. So for me, I'm definitely in that place because I have tender shoulders. I'm a little apprehensive about going to what I feel like will be my 4 to 6, but I'll know right away if I shouldn't. But I think it'll be good. It's just one of those things. You just have to be careful and listen to your body. So overhead press, real quick before we go there. Overhead press, of course, is here. We'll push up and then come right back to about shoulder level, up and down. So that's our overhead press motion. And I want your arms to be a little bit ahead of your shoulders. So I don't want you behind your shoulders for sure. And really even with your shoulders, I'd rather not see. I'd rather see you a little bit ahead of your shoulders. That just puts your shoulder in a safer position and it engages your chest a little more to help that push. Okay? All right. So let's get ourselves set. Nice and firm through those feet. Tighten that core for support. I like to kind of push up here and then give it a little pop. All right. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Bring it down. Lower it down, squat it down. There we go. Good job, guys. So, I think you probably felt why I was like, be careful, be mindful. So, yeah, just keep an eye for what our break should be. So, overhead press. So, for instance, for me, you know, when I got to 3, I was like, shoot, maybe I could do 25s. And when I got to 4, I was like, no, probably shouldn't. I think I could maybe do 25s if I did 4, but I've never done 25s in my overhead press, and I don't want to press my luck, so to speak. So the fact that it's 6, I was like, I could do 1 more if I had to. Tells me I'm still in a good rep range. And again, I'm just going to keep giving you these examples, these things to look for, because this is different, again, and it's something that I want you, if you're interested in doing this on your own, to really understand what you're doing before you go into it on your own, okay? All right, so let's do about 15 more seconds, and then we're going to go back into that overhead press. All right, let's load it up. All right, keep those feet steady underneath you. Open up that chest, and then lower those shoulders. We're not up here. You'll be real tempted because these weights are heavy to be like, oof, let it down, okay? So curl it up, and you can use those legs to kind of pop it up. Again, you see me lower those shoulders down. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, lower it down, put it down. Good work. So funny, I had that exact same thought process I just told you about, that at 4, I was like, you know, maybe 25s, and then the very next rep, nope, sure not. It's so funny, especially those of us that just really like to push ourselves. And it's like every opportunity, I'm like, maybe. All right, guys, we're gonna get about 45 seconds, maybe a little bit more. Give ourselves that break, let these muscles recover, and then get back to it. So, just again, to keep explaining and learning, when you see, now, trust me, there's plenty of people at the gym that dawdle for no reason, but if you're somewhere like Planet Fitness or Kohl's or wherever, and you see guys lifting heavy and then pacing around the room for several minutes, they actually are doing things the right way. Some wisdom, especially when you're lifting insanely heavy, is to take like 2 to 3 minutes between sets to really recover. So I'm not talking about the people that sit on the equipment and use their cell phones. That's a totally different thing. But when you see somebody like do something crazy and then they just like walk for a while or just kind of stand there and you're like, what the hell are you doing? There's actually a method to that madness. We're not quite heavy enough probably to be taking quite that long a break, but if you are, if you're getting to the end of the break that I'm giving you and you're like, still dying, then take a little bit longer break. All right, guys, last set of these. So go ahead, we curl it up, pop it up, get steady back on your feet, take those shoulders down away from your ears. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Lower it down. Drop it down. Put it down. Good job, guys. Overhead press done. Good work. All right, so we're going back to something we just did. So now we're going to go to single leg deadlift on the right side. Give our lower body some time to recover. And not only have we given our lower body some time to recover, but we also didn't work our right side at all. We worked the left side before. So right side should be nice and fresh and ready to work. So I definitely wrote this workout in a sequence that gives not only plenty of time for rest in between the exercises, but also stays out of muscle groups. So bicep works a little bit in the overhead press, but we did the single leg deadlift in the middle, so our bicep hasn't worked in quite some time. So I say that because if you do take this workout on your own somewhere, I definitely sometimes encourage you to change up the order if something works better for you, but in this particular case, this order was definitely written for a reason, okay? All right, so I'm gonna check the video real quick, have some water, and then we're gonna do that single leg deadlift again. You should already know what weights you want to use, so go ahead and get yourself set up, and I'll be right back. All right. Okay, guys, single leg deadlift on the other side. Before I get heavy weights in my hands, I'm going to give you the coaching one more time. Now we've got our right leg forward. We've got our left leg kickstand. We come up tall, and what I mean by that is we don't sit out into our hip. So I'm up tall versus I'm sitting out into my hip. Very different things, right? Some of us are more inclined to do that than others. So we get nice and tall. We've got our weight shifted back, so we're not up on our toes. Get our weight towards the back. We bend that knee, and then we sit our hips back. We're hinging back, flat back, weight scraping down those legs, and then we push through our right leg to stand back up. All right. Grab those big old weights. And get yourself set up here. So we've got our right leg, hips squared off. Tall, tall, tall. Bend that knee. Let's go. 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. All right, set that down. So guys, quick note, talking about the hips sitting out. It's the way I'm built. If you don't know, I have scoliosis. My spine is curved, so my hips are always a little off center. I also naturally incline, probably because of that, to set this hip out. So if you're someone who does that, you're hearing my cues about keeping your hip in line and sitting back for the first time, or just being out here and setting out into your hip instead of sitting back into your glute, that might feel super funky. Okay, how your body is supposed to move is how I'm coaching you. How we sometimes move is just things that we've learned. So, you might see me, I say that because when I do my right side, I feel like you can almost see the wheels turning in my head. Because I'm really having to think, focus, concentrate. Or on the left side, it's much more natural. So, just learning more about your body, right? Okay, so let's set up. Right leg, tall, out of those hips. Kickstand. Bend that knee. Hips sit back. 1. Press through that foot. 2. Press. 3. Press. 4. 5. 6. Good job, guys. Woo! Good stuff. Got a little bit of breathy, a little bit of sweat. That's where we want to be. Can I go heavier on this? Yes, I could. Do I have that available to me? No, I don't. So, but again, guys, if you're finding yourself in the same boat and you have more equipment than what I'm showing you here with dumbbells, definitely feel free. Again, I'm just trying to keep this limited to what I feel like people have at home. So, deadlift, definitely a strong muscle group there. So if you are curious about just how much you can do in an exercise, this is a great one to really push it and see what you can do. This one right here. All right, got one more trip through. Again, hips sitting back, not out, okay? All right, so let's grab those weights. Let's do this one more time. Tall out of those hips, nice flat back. Engage that core. Bend that knee. Hips come back. 1. Guys, if you're feeling this in your quad, 2, you're not sitting your hips back. You're sitting them down. You're squatting. 3. So you're trying to touch your booty to the wall behind you. 4. 5. 6. Good. Set those down. Woo! So my deadlifts are done. So, where are we going next? Single arm row is where we're going next. So, one heavy weight. Chances are, though, it's going to be a heavier weight. When we do a row, while we are using our arm, we are using our back muscles all through here. These big muscles down in our back to pull that weight. So our arm is a mover, but the muscles in our back is what's doing the work. So, single arm row, you might find that your 4 to 6 is a pretty damn heavy weight. And maybe not. We're all built different. We're all in different places. but I just kind of want to open up your mind to the fact that even though it's an upper body exercise, it could be heavier than you would expect it to be. I'm going to show you 2 variations for your single arm row. So let's see. Release 25. Here. So your options are to do this in tabletop or to do it kneeling. So let's see. If we're going to use tabletop, then I want you to grab something like a yoga block, a stack of books. I have this weird little sandball medicine ball that works okay for me. So if you're going to use tabletop, I want you to put something under your hand to elevate your hand. If you're going to be on your knee, then you don't have to worry about this, but you might want a little bit of cushion under your knee. So, single arm row, we're going to do our left arm. So, if you're going to be a tabletop, so tabletop is here, hands and knees. When you do a row, you want to get a full extension. And as you can see, unless you have long arms, which I do not, you can't get a full extension. I'm jammed up, and then at a weight, now I can't even extend my arm fully. So that's not where we want to be. We want to be elevated. So if I put this under my hand, now I have space. I can extend that weight all the way down. So that's where we want to be if we're in tabletop. Alternatively, you can be here, prop yourself on your leg, but push yourself away nice and strong and pull this way. So that's the option that I'm going to be taking today. So we're here, we're on our knee, we're pushing away, so we're not collapsing down into our shoulder, we're pushing away, we're keeping our shoulders squared off, and we're leading with our elbow past our ribs. So you see, I'm not doing this. You're not seeing my chest turn and flash you. Everything's staying here, elbows coming past ribs. So that's where I want you to be. Let's grab that weight. And we pull. 1, 2. Really try to get that elbow past those ribs. 3, 4, 5, 6. Good. Set that weight down. I definitely recommend coming off your knees. I certainly wish I had a little padding under mine. Garage floors are not friendly, even when you have great beds. So guys, you should feel that all through the muscles in your back. If you're feeling it in your shoulder, that means chances are you're doing this. And now you're involving the shoulder, which this weight is probably way too heavy for your shoulder. So keep your shoulders square, pull, squeeze that back muscle. Squeeze, elbow close, coming right past your ribs. And the further you can get the elbow extended past your ribs, the better, okay? So that's where you should be. You may have found that your weight was way too light. You may have underestimated yourself. But if you find yourself cranking like this, that means your weight is probably too heavy and you're using everything in your body to get that weight back. All right, guys, ready for round 2? All right, let's do it. So we're either in tabletop with our hand elevated here so we can get a full extension, or we're up on a knee, and again, not collapsing down into the shoulder, pushing up, nice strong chest, okay? Grab that weight. Let's go. 1. Notice I'm also not collapsing this arm all the way down. Shoulders are staying square. 3, 4, 5, last one, 6, good, settle down. All right, one more trip through. Keep an eye on the time. I don't think we're going to have enough time to do our fun little one more trip through everything, but that's okay. That's okay. My goal, because I knew I would talk a lot at the beginning of this one, is to be done in 1 hour and 10 minutes tops, knowing that I would talk at least 10 minutes at the beginning, which is exactly what I did. to my videos and to my video participants, but I have to really, really, really make sure that you're safe and that you understand what you're doing. And even then, I'll be honest, I hesitate because I just am fearful someone will get hurt. But I feel like if I talk to you enough about it, we can get through this safely. All right, guys, so let's get set up one more time. Lean into that leg, but stay strong. Push it away from you. It's there to support you. Shoulders square. We pull right past those ribs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Last one. 6. Good. You can even see when I got to the top there, like this hand shook. Maximum effort, right? All right, guys, so let's come on down to our booties, unless you need to grab some water here, which I do. All right, so where are we going next? Bench press. So bench press is another one where I'm going to say, while I'm talking, grab some weights and experiment. Grab one that you think is probably too light, see how that feels. And I don't mean to do 6 of them, but just see it. You'll know right away, usually, if your weight is too heavy. So bench press, while it is a very strong exercise, again, we're in those tender, sensitive shoulders, and we want to make sure that we are not lifting anything far too heavy. Okay, so I want you to experiment if you have a little bit of doubt. If you did my video from Saturday, then you probably already know exactly where you need to be. And this is another one where I'm a little nervous about where I'm going to go, but I think it's going to be fine. But it is not something I would normally do, but I don't normally work in this rep range. So, live and learn, right? So I'm not doing 25, that's for sure. So go ahead and get your weights where you want them to be. And then I'll give you a little bit of coaching without the weights on the floor before I pop up and grab them. So, bench press. You can be on a stability ball if you want. If you did class with me on Saturday, I did my bench press on a stability ball. It is tempting. I might consider doing it again. The benefit of being on a stability ball or on a bench itself and not on the floor is when you do bench press, if you're on the floor, you get stopped by the floor, right? You can't go past your chest. If you're up on a ball or on a bench, you can go a little bit beyond, get a little more extension on that chest and push up. It's just a little more benefit to be able to get your elbows past your body by a little bit. Now you don't want to come way back here, but just a little bit and push. On the floor, you can't do that. Now, if stability ball is your only option and you're nervous about this weight, please know that it's going to be an extra challenge being on the ball because you've got to have core strength and you've got to be able to squeeze your booty at the same time. So there's a lot more to it if you're on the ball. If you're unsure about that, if you're nervous about that, if the combination of that plus really heavy weights is freaking you out, I don't blame you. Don't do it. Just use the floor, okay? I'm going to try the stability ball just out of my own curiosity here. So, I'm going to give a test run, see if nope, I'm not even close. There we go. Perfect. So, if you're going to use a stability ball, then we're going to take our weights, we're going to load them up to our knees, to our chest, and push ourselves up. Now we're here. We can lift the weights up over our chest. So just like the overhead press, I want you to be more at like a 45-degree angle, not right up out of your shoulders. So bring that weight really down over your chest. Push. If you're on the ball, squeeze those glutes, lock down that core. Let's go. 1, 2. Hi, Rizzo. 3, 4, 5, 6. Woo! Bring those weights down to your chest. Good. Yeah. So, if that was too much, if you're on the ball and you were, hi, sweet pea. If you were on the ball and you were like, oh my gosh, come here. There we go. Are you going to do my bench presses with me? Oh, that's so sweet. That's so sweet. So you're going to do your bench presses with me on the ball. Make sure you're keeping that booty locked in tight. Keep that core engaged. And if that is too much to do with all the heavy weights, then get off the ball, lay on the floor. You are doing nothing wrong by being on the floor, okay? It is just taking a little bit of your range of motion away. It's nothing harmful. All right, I gotta do more bench presses. Okay, on the switch too. All right, guys, let's get going. Round 2. Weights to the legs, to the chest, and we push ourselves up. We load those weights up. And if you're on the ball with me, squeeze those glutes tight. Drive your feet away down. Push the floor away. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Beautiful. Bring them down. Roll them down. Offload them. Good work, guys. Oh, and there's my little girl. She's supporting us. All right, friends. A little break. We do that one more time. How are we feeling about it? I'm loving it. This is the heaviest bench press I've done in a long time with my finicky shoulders. So it feels good. And I hope you enjoy the feeling of lifting a heavy, heavy weight. Probably heavier than you ever thought. It's a pretty great feeling. So I hope you guys are enjoying the push, the challenge, and the win at the end, right? So we got one more round of these, and then we have a round of our single arm rows, 3 of those, and then we will be done. Yes, Power Hour will be in the books. So, give yourself another couple breaths. Make sure you're nice and reset, ready to go. Again, we want to be about 45-degree angle out of our shoulder, not up here at 90, about 45. You can feel the difference. Just bring those arms down. You feel that chest kick in immediately. Whereas up here, you're just kind of hanging out. Okay? All right, so load those weights up. One more time. Push those hips up. Again, if you're on the ball, driving the floor away, squeezing that tush. Core engaged. Let's do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Woo! Beauty. Bring it down. Roll it down. Take them off. Nice work, guys. All right. So if you're using the ball, you can put that away. We've only got one exercise left to go. We've got our single arm row on the right side, and then we will be all done. So we keep our breaks short, just like we have been. Pretty much equal between breaks and between exercises, because again, we've been out of that muscle group, so it's safe to go back to it. It's nice and rested. Whew, I'm going to take this opportunity to get a couple of these weights out of my way. And say hello to our little helper, our little cheerleader. Hi, sweet girl. I know, we're lifting heavy. This weight is 2 of you. She's a very spelt 12 pounds or so. You are. So yeah, this weight is double you. Crazy. All right, guys, so we've got that single arm row. We've already done this on the other side, so we know where we're going. You've either got tabletop with that hand elevated so you can get full extension, or you're on one knee here with me, okay? So we're leaning into that knee, leaning into that thigh, and then we're pushing away. So we don't want to be here, collapse from our shoulder, pushing away, square it off. The weight comes down, but not down like this. Shoulders stay even. Pull past those ribs. Past those ribs. No flare open. All right. Let's do it, guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good. Set it down. 1 down. Alrighty. And move the timer down here so I can keep it on a little better. So this is a great exercise. These rows, working that back muscle if you're trying to get that kind of hourglass figure, or if you're a guy, or what you call it, a funnel, whatever it is. But to get that nice kind of tapering at the waist, working these muscles with these heavy rows are a great way to do it because it's the muscles that kind of bring everything in your back. So this is a great way to do it. And again, it's a weight that even if you're a beginner, you can do pretty heavy weight for a beginner because you've got a lot of muscle groups working there. Really strong muscles, really big muscle group. Combine those two, you can look pretty heavy with it. All right, so get ourselves set back up. So again, we're up, we lean in, or we're in tabletop, we push away. Square everything up, and let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, last one, 6, good, set it down, last break, last set of reps, and then we will be done with our power hour. Guys, I was ready for that. Are you ready for us to be done? I bet you are. You're being such a good helper, though. Oh, man. I said we have to get her a little muscle tank, right? She works out with us enough. She needs a little strong style fit tank. All right, guys, I'm going to take just about 20 more seconds, and we're going to finish up. Catch your breath. I'm going to go ahead and start getting myself set up so we're nice and ready. Lean in and push that leg away so you're nice and strong. Pick it up, reset those shoulders, get everything set. Let's pull. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Last one. 6. Woo! Good work, my friends. Bring it on up. You did it. You did it. Power hour in the books. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. I know it was a lot of talking, it was a lot of coaching, it was a lot of breaks. We did a lot of learning and we did a lot of lifting today, right? All about some learning and lifting. But I wanted you guys to understand because we do a lot of 12 reps, 10 to 12, 10 to 12, 10 to 12. So I wanted you guys to understand that there's more to it than just that. 10 to 12 is a beautiful place to work for building muscle, which is kind of what our goal is, right, for most of us. But if you're interested in other things that your bodies can do, if you watch those power lifters and are like, whoa, this is a great way. Obviously, we are not Olympic powerlifting here, but this is a great way to kind of explore what that's like, that 4 to 6 rep range. And again, you might not have at your home gym weights are going to push you to that level, but now you know if you do go to a gym, like a Planet Fitness, something like that, you sort of know where you're at. And you're like, oh man, if I had 10 more pounds, then I would be in that right range. And so then when you go to the gym that has that bigger weight selection, you know what to pick up right away. You can take this workout there and go kill it there. Show out to everybody, walk around, take those long breaks, look like you've been doing something crazy. Oh goodness, so guys, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you had a great workout and that you're sweaty and that your muscles feel full and swole and wonderful. And as always, guys, please like, share, subscribe. Get this message out of what we're doing here at Strong Style Fitness. Encourage others to join us. And lastly, if you can, please send any donations that you are able to this way. Venmo at Strong Style Fit is where you will find me. Again, it is the only payment I receive for these classes, so anything that you can give is greatly appreciated. Guys, you have a great rest of your week. I will see you in a few days with another workout. Until then, take care. Mwah.